Every job seeker with a disability is faced with the same decision. Should I or shouldn't I disclose my disability? This decision may be framed differently depending on whether an individual has a visible disability or a non-visible disability. For example, a physical disability that requires use of a wheelchair is obvious when you meet an employer. On the other hand, a cognitive or emotional disability such as a learning disability, autism, or PTSD are often not apparent unless disclosed. Ultimately, the decision of whether to disclose is entirely up to the individual. This video will help you better decide when you should disclose a disability.
When entering the workforce, there is the requirement to share information about a disability when asking an employer to provide a reasonable accommodation. Accommodations may be needed to perform job duties, but may also be relevant during the application process, including participation in any pre-employment testing or to engage in an interview. An employer is only required to provide work-related accommodations when the individual discloses their disability and any associated limitations that may relate to the job they currently hold or desire to hold. However, an applicant or employee is only required to disclose a disability if the disability requires a reasonable accommodation. Therefore, an applicant or employee does not need to disclose any disability unrelated to a request for a reasonable accommodation. Disclosure may be needed at different times during the tenure of someone's employment due to the progression of a disability and/or the changing duties of a position that may require accommodations that were previously not needed.
Questions about disability are prohibited in the application and interview process, but may become relevant when discussing whether or not an individual is able to perform specific tasks associated with the job they are currently holding or desire to hold. For example, if someone who is blind is asked how they would complete tasks that require reading print on a computer screen, they would need to disclose that they need an accommodation to accomplish this task and demonstrate that they were qualified for this position.
Similarly, when an individual experiences difficulty completing job tasks due to a disability, it is in their best interest to disclose that a disability is present that may need to be accommodated. The failure to identify a disability-related limitation may result in a negative job action. Employers are only required to accommodate limitations that they are made aware of.
More information about disclosing a disability under the ADA can be found online at www.dol.gov/ODEP.